I want to talk about vulnerability. Now, vulnerability is something that we talk about in our intensive class, our 3-day intensive class. And we believe that vulnerability is strength. Now, it's likely that you have been taught over time that vulnerability is weakness. And we really believe that being vulnerable requires courage, and having courage requires you to be strong. To make a choice to be courageous is strength. Therefore, vulnerability is the new strong. And to that end, I posted a very personal story on Facebook this week about a time in my life where I was very, very low. I was suicidal. Um, I thought that not being here was a better option than being here. And I told the whole story on there. And if you want, you can go friend me and find it on my Facebook page. But the thing that was really interesting to me was the response that I got. And the only reason that I posted it out there, it wasn't to get attention. It wasn't for people to give me their feedback. I suspected that that would be the result, but I did it to demonstrate the importance of being vulnerable. And I did it so that if it could help even one person who's in a similar place to reach out and ask for help and understand that that's not the best option, then it was worth taking the risk, having the courage to go out there and post that information about myself. But what was so interesting to me was the different kind of responses that I got. Most of them were very, very encouraging. People telling me that they were grateful that I had put it out there, that it required courage and all of that kind of stuff. And I absolutely am grateful for those responses. It filled me up and made me realize that the choice that I made was absolutely the right choice. But there were a couple of responses that surprised me. One of those responses was from a very close family member of mine who said, "Hey, aren't you worried that putting that stuff out there will impact your business? That somebody's going to read that and they're going to take it and say, well, because of this, I'm not going to work with you." And my response to that was, I didn't even give that any consideration, because if that's the response that someone has to me putting my stuff out there and being authentic and real and vulnerable, then they're not the kind of people that we want to work with anyway. I stopped living my life for what other people wanted a number of years ago, and it really did change my life. So what I'd like to encourage you with today is the idea to choose to be vulnerable, choose to ask for help. Whatever vulnerability looks like for you, take that risk, ask for help, show people who you really are. And when you do that, it's actually freeing. And it will have the opposite effect of the fear, the story that you have about why you might not want to. I promise you, it's going to have the opposite effect. So vulnerability is the new strong.